What's going on, everybody? So in this video, we are going to be talking about what's going on in crypto land, the NFT market, and some of the latest news in the NFT space. Starting things off, we got to look at the market sentiment. Things are a little bit more fearful than they was the past few days. Ethereum has been going down in value a little bit, right? Not too long ago, we saw Ethereum at that 1.6. Just like 4 days ago, we saw Ethereum at 1.7. And then now, obviously it's going to go down to 1.4. And again, I'm not like a super technical analysis person. There are definitely people that are much smarter than me when it comes to that. But from what I understand and the people I follow, people do believe that it can get a lot worse, even though with the merge coming around, it seems like that probably will be a lot of speculative people buying into Ethereum, during these times of where Ethereum pumps from like 800 to like 1.8 to 2 and down. Somebody's making money, somebody's losing money on these trades. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. Now, when we're looking at the NFT volume, it's been going down and down and down for the most part. So things are looking a little grim in a sense, but we actually see that some projects that are continuing to survive and thrive during these times, those are going to be the ones that actually make it when the bull market eventually does return. Who knows when, whether it's going to be a year, 2 years, not sure, but having a strong community during a bear is probably one of the most important factors to success for an NFT project. Okay, so let's look at what are the top projects popping off right now. So the first one is going to be degods. So degods have been making a lot of noise when it comes to doing marketing on Twitter. As you can see over the past week, it just started pumping up like crazy. So right now people are buying a degod for around, 200K in USD volume. It's quite an interesting mechanic where, if you do buy degod off the floor, then you're going to get some rewards for that as well. And it seems like not many people are wanting to sell this. And part of the reason why they're pumping up a lot is because they have another project called HUGEE. It's going to allow creators to make money through licensing. You could definitely check this out if you want all the details, and I already covered it in my previous video, so that's why we're not covering it again. They did this marketing where they create this thing called the HUGEE list, right? And to get everyone on board into this project, essentially you have to apply, and every time that somebody gets a whitelist, they're going to post it on Twitter with the person's picture and say, hey, congratulations, you got accepted. On my feed, I'm going to see this like every day, and then sometimes you get some people who are kind of famous in the Twitter space, and then you'll be like, oh my god, I want to join that too, and then everyone applies, right? So the demand is really coming from this, and then somehow that's going to feed back into degods, because it is an ecosystem. So you definitely want to check out these projects if you want to learn more about degods. Now, the second project that's popping off right now is going to be Digidaiku, and we did talk about them I think a week or two ago. But Digidaiku going to 7.7 ETH floor, pretty crazy, honestly. Even during this time, they only recently just launched, I think, on August 10th, and a lot of people are looking at this and they're thinking, oh well, it's just another anime project, why does it deserve to be 7 ETH? If you do a little more research into Digidaiku, you would see that they are developed by this company called Limit Break, which is on stealth mode. But if you dig into the founders of the people that started this, they actually were responsible for the success of this game called Machine Zone. And I definitely have heard of this before. I actually think I had a friend that worked at this company years ago. But essentially, this company has a lot of popular games: Final Fantasy, Game of War, Mobile Strike. And then you might be like, okay, well, some people might know these games, some people might not know these games. But if you kind of just Google these games, Mobile Strike racks over 1 billion in revenue for Machine Zone, right? So this is just literally one game. I don't know everything about every single game they put out, but if they're putting out Final Fantasy and they're making like $1 billion on one game, you bet that they, the other games that they put out probably, have some kind of substance to it and probably do make a lot of money. So when they are doing a project like Digidaiku, a lot of people are speculating like, okay, well, this company literally did $1 billion in revenue for one single game, and this is their next thing coming out, and this NFT project is related to gaming. They didn't really do a hype drop. They don't have that much engagement on Twitter, honestly. They did a stealth drop, right? How this thing is really pumping up is because the word of mouth of like people in the know, people in the VC space and the gaming space are like, hey, that this project was started by these guys that did Machine Zone. Oh, really? Let me buy some. And then they tell their friends, they'll tell their friends over and over and over. And then it gets to a point where people don't want to sell and the price just goes high and high. So nobody really knows, like publicly, nobody knows like what they are planning to do with this project. I'm sure in the know, if you know the founders, people on the team, maybe you have some kind of glimpse or some kind of teaser idea, but for the public, nobody really knows, but the price keeps going up based on speculation, or if you have some special information that maybe other people don't, right? So I just want to put that on your radar once again. Now, should you buy during a time when it pumped all the way to 7? I would say it's pretty risky at this point. Who knows though, maybe it can keep going up or maybe it goes down. There's always different games that people play during a bear market, so you definitely want to do your research, be mindful, and I'm not going to tell you to buy or not buy. That's not my job. My job is just to share with you you know, the news on what's going down. Now, speaking of news on what's going down, Animoca Brands, which is one of the largest VCs when it comes to crypto and NFTs, they have a Japan unit that recently raised $45 million, $500 million valuation for an NFT push. So there's a lot of money being pumped into NFTs. A lot of these companies like Animoca Brands and other ones that are really huge, they found a lot of success when it comes to investing in crypto projects. A lot of the projects actually don't make it in the end, but somehow they find a way to make money with the tokens and things like that. With that found success, I think they want to kind of replicate that into NFTs, right? So with $45 million going into the Japanese market specifically, and I think they do invest a lot of money outside the Japanese market as well, you're going to definitely see a lot more projects, higher quality projects coming up in the future. I would say in 2021 and the beginning of 2022, it was kind of the era where, you know, these indie brands can like come out and do really well, right? But now that so much money is being pumped into the system by VCs, you're going to get more talented entrepreneurs who have seasoned experience. You're going to have these large brands putting millions of dollars into these projects right off the bat before mint. So I think the quality of NFTs will definitely go up, but you also have to be mindful of how certain VCs play the game. I'm not saying Animoca does this, but just like in general, if you study, let's say like metaverse gaming crypto coins, those are all down pretty bad. And a lot of times the people that start these coins or fund these coins, somehow they're in profit. You have to be very mindful of how the game is actually played, because the same strategies that people used in regular alternative coins and crypto, they probably will replicate into NFTs as well. And if you're not prepared for that, you might see these pumps, you might see, you know, the prices dropping and you might not understand why. And a lot of times things go up and down. It's not because of a project being good or not, it's just because people buying and FOMO-ing. So you definitely need to do your research, be a part of different alpha groups and things like that to like really understand what's going on if you want to navigate the space and somehow make it. By the way, if you do want to join a community of people who are building and investing and collecting in NFTs, you want to make sure you check out the Parallax Genesis, which is our project, which is all about education. Every other week, we actually do a live session, Parallax Academy, teaching you everything you need to know on the insides of NFTs and the crypto space. So check it out. Link is in the description if you want to pick one up, and let's move on. Now, in other news, Eminem and Snoop Dogg recently did a performance, but essentially what they're doing is they're using the Bored Apes over here. Snoop Dogg and Eminem have been like, you know, prominent in the NFT space and stuff like that for quite a while now. And then just them putting out a music video, getting more attention into Bored Ape, that definitely increases the status of a Bored Ape, right? And so if you think about like a Bored Ape, for example, like why is it popular? Why do people want to flex with it? It's because it's popular, right? And so there are definitely a lot of people working behind the scenes to get the Bored Ape in as many places possible to get more awareness for it and to keep the hype going, right? This is really only possible if you have the connections and a lot of money to do it. So if you think about like why large VCs, you know, pump a lot of money into projects, sometimes, you know, they put a lot of money into marketing, placement, putting in different places so that people perceive the brand as something as valuable. And it seems like they also have an NFT project called Ape Editions. So it's like Eminem and Snoop Dogg commemorates their live performance using the Bored Ape. Going on the website, I believe it's going to be like certified fine art. So basically no utility for it. It's kind of like a souvenir to say like, hey, you know, like we did this and this was a moment in time, and maybe in the future you will get something, right? So not all NFTs have to have utility, right? They're not promising anything. You don't have to buy if you don't want to, right? But it's just kind of cool. Like just like you buy, you know, a souvenir or a merchandise, right? You don't ask a return on investment, but it's just like, hey, you know, I was there. I watched that thing during that time period. So maybe one day these will be valuable. Maybe it's just an experiment, but it's pretty cool. So the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be my boy Tubasa once again giving away Azukis. The other week he gave an Azuki to an artist because the person was doing so many like commission art for the Azuki community. So he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to give you Azuki for doing great work, right? Now he's done it once again, giving an Azuki to Sire Don't Play, who is a rapper. I think he's given also more Azukis and other things in the past. So pretty cool that, you know, the community is still going strong, and, you know, these kind of things happen and it kind of makes it special during a bear market especially. And so that said, that is everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.